Hi, and welcome to a new live stream, Power BI report in 1 hour. We had one today at 10 in German, so if you want to switch to German, you can rewatch the other live stream. But if you're here, I guess you're right. So yeah, let's start. First, a little introduction. I'm Kathrin, managing partner at YODABI. I'm founder of Colors of Fabric, former female fabricator, and Power Platform User Group Hamburg. You see here some informations like my GitHub repository. You can go there. There is some interesting informations regarding different things, monitoring, also the documentation for today. And you can also write me an email, or you can go on my page and read my blog. I have also a very new data escape room experience on my page. So if you want, you can challenge yourself in different rooms. Today we opened the room of the data flood, and you will learn a bit about OneLake. So if you have time and you want to learn a bit about Power BI, Fabric, governance, and so on, you can go to the data escape rooms. And then you see there my LinkedIn and YouTube QR code. If you want, you can also follow me here on YouTube if not already done. And of course, on LinkedIn, I post every day some tips and tricks. So, but enough about from me. So let's switch to our task today. And today I challenge you to build a report in 1 hour. So there is nothing complicated. So let's start with what we have. If you want, you can go to my GitHub repository and go to the README in English. There is a little instruction where you see first you need the Power BI desktop, of course, otherwise you can't work with me here. You can go directly there and download it in different languages if you want. And the next thing is the data for the hands-on part. Of course, it is in the same folder. You found it here. It's the household grocery spendings. And then we have a little background for the report, which we will load into the report later. Then we have also some measures. I thought about not to use any measures, but I thought, okay, we will show, or I will show you what Power BI is different from Excel. So maybe we make some easy ones. So and we only need them for one visual in the end. So it is very, very simple. And then we, of course, we have here a date table, which we need if we want to use calculated measures. And we also need the date table if you want to show, for example, date ranges, because it could be that the date ranges in your table are not complete, so that could be difficult. So that's why we create a date column. And there are many other things why we should consider a separate date table. Okay, and yes, with what we will start is that is our Excel. So it is very, very simple. It's a little household grocery list. So you can relate to this, right? So you you buy stuff every day. So you need some food and some beverages and so on. And this is a list everyone can relate to. So you don't need to know the data exactly. So it is just a household list for groceries. Okay, then let's see what we will build out of this list. And you see here we have a nice little report we will build today together. And don't panic, we have enough time. I scheduled, or I was just in time this morning, so I guess we will this afternoon as well. And you see here some total spendings. We have here an average spending per day. We have here a little spending by month over month, and you see if it's good or bad with a bit color here, red and green. We have here a filter where you can filter on specific calendar weeks. So if we change, for example, here the week, you see that the total spending and average per day will change. The average per day is calculated by the total of the spendings divided by, of course, 7, so 7 days. That's happened automatically because it is an automatic. It is an yeah, automatic average we can create here. And then we have here a category where you can filter after the different categories. And in the end, we have a bigger one below, which shows you the sum of total of all the spendings we had, and you can analyze them after, for example, category. And then you see that you have in calendar week 6, we have to delete the category filter, otherwise we only will see fruits and vegetables. And now you see fruit and vegetables are the most expensive category here. And if you want to investigate further, you can go on and click on, for example, items, and then you see, oh, bananas are very expensive. And then you can also check the unit price and see, okay, it is 10.74. And then maybe you can also change it to another week, and then you see, oh, bananas were less expensive in the week before. Okay, that's very interesting. Could also be because we buy more bananas in one week than in another. So we could also say here not only category, but we can, for example, filter after the quantity. So you can see, okay, 4, and then we can split it into the categories, and then we can split it into the items, and so on. So you can analyze here, yeah, very much. And I guess this is a very nice little report, and you can use it by yourself if you have a grocery household list by yourself, and then you can put it here in Power BI if you want. So let's start. And before we build the report, we need to load the data. So please open Power BI Desktop. I will change the language to English. I saw it, it's still German. So I will change it under options and settings, and then I can change the language here. So a little sideways. uh, that was not planned, but doesn't matter. So here you see the global options, and you see for current file. I go on the global because I want to change it globally. I just changed it to German because I had, as you know, the live stream in the morning. So now I have to restart it, and then we are good to go. I don't need this to save, and then let's start the Power BI desktop again. So we have 53 minutes left, and that's a good time. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. I will see if I can answer them directly. So there are no stupid questions or something. It's only just questions. So please, if you have questions, reach out. Okay, let's start with a blank report. So hopefully you have this one. Otherwise, maybe on the left you have here new report or new or something. Click on blank report or new. Both will do it. And then you see your report canvas. And this is very nice because in the years before, there were no icons here where you can click and load directly your data. Now it is much more simpler, and you can simply click on import data from Excel, and you can choose your list. So I go to my webinars, I go to my folder, click on household grocery spendings, and you see, oh no, I can't open it. And on this point, maybe some of you are already frustrated, but it is no problem because the file isn't closed, so it is still open, and I could put some numbers in it, so Power BI can't load it. So you have to shut down the file, and then you can open it. So that was the first step. So in the next part, you see here, you have a little navigator window, and in it you see here a little preview of your data. We already saw the preview in our Excel directly, and you see here also the little preview. It's not all the data, it's a preview, right? So otherwise it would take too long to load. And then we can click on the household spendings, and then you can say load, transform data, or cancel. We go on transform data because I want to show you the Power Query data so that you are aware of where can you do the amazing transformations if you want to do them. So you can open up the Power Query editor, which is also in Excel. So maybe it is a bit familiar for you, and you know it already from Excel. If not, this is an Excel. And of course, Power BI is built on top of Excel, so that's also, yeah, why it's there. And here you see we have our household spendings. We see here the different columns, and we see also, for example, the date. Date is always important because if date has not the right format, so here on the left you see a little icon which is for the data types. You can click on it and then you can say, okay, it is date or date time, so it depends on what you have. And this is very important because if you want to create the date table later, it has to be a date table in your data model, because we will use a function which search in your data model after data tables. So that's also, yeah, that's why it is very important to check it, and also to check if all the other columns has the right data type, right? So if you want to, for example, calculate with quantity, quantity has to be a number. If there is an ABC, then it's a text and you can't calculate. You can only count things on. And also a very important point, which I always face in my trainings, is that in prices or in revenues, that people want to use a fixed decimal number. But I wouldn't recommend it, because if you use it here and you have, for example, 3 or 4 digits after the comma, it could be that you have 30 cents missing in the end on the front, right? So I spent a whole day to figure that out at a customer, because the customer set all columns with prices and so on fixed decimal number, but they had more than 2 digits after the comma. So that was a bit frustrating, and that's why I always recommend don't use that. Use decimal number, it's fine. It's all you need, and it is. And also a little recommendation is that you don't. If you have an Excel list, it won't be perfect, right? You will have some totals, some subtotals, and so on. But please, you only use the raw data. If you don't use the raw data, the problem is that it will, calculate. So if you have, for example, 1 million, and then I have a subtotal and a total of 1 million, then you have 2 millions. So that's not the right number. It looks nice in the report, but it's not correct. So please be aware of that. You check if you have totals, subtotals, and things in your original Excel file or in your CSV file. And also important is that now I lost track. That you have if you have comments or something or notes, or it won't show in Power BI, so there is no way. And also an important point is that there is no write back function. So if you change something here, it won't go back in the original file. Doesn't work this way. It only works in the other way. So if you, for example, put a new raw in your CSV or Excel and you click on refresh, then you will get the new data, but you can't write back from Power BI to Excel. So not on default. And yeah, if you finished here, I talk too much. So you can go on the left side on close and apply and load the data into Power BI. So that's the first step to build our report, because you need the data, right? This takes a bit. If you see the line here above with applied changes, it will disappear after the data is loaded. And now it's gone. So now we have on the right side, we have our household spendings, we have a category, items, quantity, and so on. And we need, of course, I mentioned it before, a date table. So let's create first the date table before we start with our report. So for that, we go on the left and we check in the table view first our table. So let's check everything is there, everything is in the right order, and so on. Okay, and then you can go on top under table tools on new table, and then you get here a line, a function line, where you can put in now your function, your table function, because you want to create a table. And if you want the code, you can go simply to our Git, and you will find it under the README, and there's a code. You can also, if you want to change, for example, the code, and you don't know how, then you can go, for example, to Copilot, ChatGPT, and you can restructure this table if you want. So you can, for example, put in create me a date table in Power BI. And very important, if you now create it like this, then you get a formula where you have a min and max date by default. If you want to search the data model, there's a specific function called calendar auto, which searches your data model and search for the first and the last date, and then it will round up and round on off on top so that you have that date starts on the 1st of January and ends at the 31st of December. So you have full years, which is easier to calculate later. So then create me a date table in Power BI with calendar auto. Oh, I have to write it correctly. So, and then it will give you a very simple table here. You see date, and then you have here the different columns. And if you want to have more, you can of course put it in, and then the code will change. And my recommendation for this is that you have one date table for the whole company, not that everyone creates one by themselves. So every company has a certain year for their budget, for their plans, and so on. And it is better if the company provides a date table for this. But in this case, we have an ad hoc report and we create a date table by ourselves. So please copy the code. You can also click here, copy. And then we go back into our report and simply copy and, of course, let me go back. Copy and paste, copy the code, and then simply put it in. So, and then you see here our different kind of columns, and I see that the week number is missing, so let's put it in. So let's change our code directly. After the weekday, you can, with Alt and Enter, you can simply, like in Excel, get a new line, and then you can put in calendar week and comma, and then there's a function called week number, and then we can simply copy the date from another formula. You don't have to write it, so we're efficient, not lazy. And then we can click enter, and you see now we have here our nice looking table. That was easy, right? Hopefully it was easy. And yes, if you watch it, you see, oh, so many columns. If we all need them, I doubt it, but it looks nice. So the next thing, we have to connect it to our main table. And if we want to do that, we go on the left, switch to model view, and in the model view, we see now our both tables. We have here our household spendings, and we have here our data table. And to connect them, you can simply drag and drop the date from one table to another. And then you see, you can check if it's right. So it's date on date. It's fine. The rest is not important for the moment. The important thing is that date is on date. And then you can click on save, and you see now our tables are connected. And it doesn't matter if you drag it from left to right, from right to left. Power BI knows what to do, so there's no going wrong here. Okay. If you're finished, then we can go on the left side on our report view. So we could create the measures first, but let's start with the report so that you're getting a bit familiar with all the functions you have in Power BI. So first, normally we create the header, but I have created a background for you, so you can directly load the background and put the header on the background picture. If you want to if you want to load the background into your report, you can simply go on the right side, click on the brush here with the paper, the background, and go on Canvas background. And there you can browse after the image I put in the Git, and I will use it from the download because I've changed it a bit. And yes, so I will wait a moment so that you can load it. And I need something to drink. Okay, and then don't get a shock, because the first thing we have to do is image fit. We have to fit, and then we have to put the transparency on 0 because it's 100, so we can't see the background even if we want, because it's 100 transparency. Yeah, so good. If we have now our beautiful background, we can start with our header. And you see we have 20 minutes, 20 minutes are over, and we have our data in our report, we have our background, and we start with the report here now. So yeah. So in the top, in the ribbon bar, you will find the text box. All items are more than once there. So if you look closer, you will find them on one or the other place. So click on text box, and then we put here our household list for groceries. Yes, hopefully this is correctly. I'm not writing that often groceries. In German, it's a bit simpler. If you go on this format pane, it is like a PowerPoint, Word. So you can click here and make the text a bit bigger, a bit bigger. And then you see here now we have our. So I can also only put in spendings. So that's enough. Otherwise, this possibility is high that I write it wrong. And little tip, by the way, if you want to put the field in another place, click on the 3 dots on the side. It is easier as to find the line and to drag and drop it. So if you want to drag and drop it, click on the 3 dots, hold them, and that's much easier to do. And the next thing you see, we have here a background, so we need to remove the background. And for these settings, we have to go on the right side under format text box, and you find it under effects, and there is the point background. You can also put in the search bar background, and then it will also appear. So you have different options here. Choose what's your best fit. So now we have our header, and the next thing was that we built a card for our total spendings. And for this, we go on the right side. We choose our card visual. It is called card visual. So you can click on it, and it will appear here. And it is like an empty frame. So now you can fill in your data. And in our case, we want to have the total. So you can go on the right, and then you can, for example, click on the box, on the checkbox beside total. You can also drag and drop the total into the box. So there are different ways, and the last one would be drag and drop it directly into the fields, which is under the visuals. This is your setting area for your visual, where you can find all the settings you can do with this, where you can put in the data. So now you see we have our card, which looks nice, but you see that the numbers are not white, so that it won't appear here in the background if we hide the background, the white background. And the sum total is also not on the right place. So let's change some things here. first we go on the right on the brush here, and then you can click on call out value, and in call out value, that's the number which is very present here, and then you can make it a bit smaller. You can change the color to white, and that's it. Then the next thing would be category label, and there you can say off. So this is a sum total, we don't need it. And now we have no options. No, just kidding. We have here general, which is like everything around the visual, so the background, the header icons, and so on. So there are a lot of going on there. The first effects, same thing like with the background. So you can, with the background for the title, so you can remove it, and then you can put it on our black field here, which we prepared for it. And above the effects, you have the title. And you can switch it on, and then you can say spendings, or better, total spendings. And then you see, that's not white. You're right. Means go back to title and change the color. So now it's white, and we can also make the horizontal alignment to center, and then you can make the box a bit smaller, and you see now it fits. Perfect. Okay, questions so far? If someone has some questions. If not, then we will go on with our next card. And the good thing, we have already the format for the next card. So we can simply click on it and say copy and paste this card. You see? Saved us a lot of time. Still half an hour left for the rest of the report, and I'm not sure, maybe I'm faster than before, but it feels like. Okay, if we now want to have the average spendings per day, per week, we can go on the right side, and under the visuals you find the settings, as I mentioned before. And you can click on the little arrow which goes down, and then you can choose average. You can also choose other things here, so it's you can choose by default different things, and we choose the average, and now you see it changed, and the title is not really correct here. So let's change the title. Go on the brush, click on general, click on title, and then it is average spendings per day. Okay, looks good? Fine. Then, next thing. We have here some boxes for filters. Filters are very important in Power BI. So Power BI works with a filter context. So you can create boxes where you can put, or you can choose an attribute, and your report will filter down based on this attribute, on this filter box. And for this, we have a specific boxes which called slicer. And if you click on this slicer, you get an empty field. Please be sure that you don't have another visual activated, otherwise you will override it, and you don't want that. So we go back with Control Z, and then we click in the white space in the background, and then we click on slicer. And in the slicer, we will put in the calendar week we created before. So you can drag it in. So my preferred way is drag and drop, but it doesn't matter. So you can choose your preferred way. And you see, it is not the right way. We want a drop down menu, and now we have a between. So if we want to change it, we go to the right on the brush, and then we choose the slicer settings. It's the first setting here, and then the style is not between, it is drop down. And now we see we have a drop down. and we have, as always, an annoying white background, which we can, of course, hide if we go on the general, so everything which is around the visual, on the effects, and then we can turn it off. So now we have here our white box where we can put in our filter. And if you now click on this filter and you choose, for example, 4, calendar week 4, you see the change the numbers here. So it works. That's great. So everything is working. That's good. And the next one would be the category. So simply click on your first slicer here, copy and paste. I copy and paste a lot. That's why I'm so fast. Okay, and then we can put in here the category, and we on the right side in the field we can drag in the category, and then we can delete the calendar week. You can also create a hierarchy. Not sure if this makes sense, but maybe there's a use case for that. But not in our use case, so that's why we delete it. Okay, that looks good. It's not very aligned with the box, but I guess that's not the problem. So if you want to align things so that it's that's aligned, then you can also go on Format on the menu bar. You have, of course, to mark the things you want to align first, and then you can go on Align, and then you can align the boxes if they are not. That's a nice feature. Okay, then before we will create a bit more complicated, not complicated, but the more advanced visual, which is the bar chart here, the column chart, we will create the decomposition tree, which is very cool, and everyone should use it. So this is my preferred one of my preferred visuals. If you want to create it, click in the white space, and on the right side you find it here, the decomposition tree, and then you can click on it. And it's very simple to set it up. So first we make it bigger so that it fits in our box here in the background, and then we can first, if you watch, you look here under the visuals, you see analyze. So first we have to put in the total because we want to analyze after total. And then you can put in everything you want to explain by. For example, you want to explain it by item, or you want to explain it by category, or by unity price, or by quantity. Yes, so that's it. And then simply click on the plus, and then you see here, for example, category. And then it will open the category. And then you see overall, over our data set, you see fruit and vegetables are on top. So if I now go on calendar week and I filter on week 4, then I see that snacks and sweets are in this week on top. So this is the filter context. So you choose a certain attribute, for example, a week, and then everything will filter down to the specific attribute, in this case, the calendar week. But fruit and vegetables are in a lot of weeks on place 1. So, and then we can, of course, delete it. We can, for example, choose another category here. For example, quantity. And we can say, okay, quantity, items, and then we see, oh, onions. I guess we love onions, and broccoli and bread. Yes. So this is a first look, right? We can also look a bit deeper if we want, but for the first look, it's fine. And of course, one visual is missing, and we have still 26 minutes left. I guess this will be enough. In the morning, we had 20 minutes, so it's a lot of time. Okay, then click in the white space in the background, and then we choose our last visual, which is the clustered column chart. And you can also make it a bit bigger if it's better for you, no problem. I will also make it a bit bigger so you can see it a bit better. And in this chart, we saw the months over months. So first, of course, we have to put in the month. So on the right, we choose our month number, put it in, and don't panic. there's nothing in the moment because we only choose the month numbers, but we don't choose a value. So next would be the total from our household spending. And we see here there's only for month number 2. But this is a filter context again in Power BI. So you have to check your filters, and you see we're still in calendar week 7, and 7 is in February. So you have to delete it first, and then you see it will go directly into our month numbers. And I'm not sure if it's in your version also correct sorted, because this is a bit weird. In the session before it wasn't sorted correctly, and we have to switch different things there. But if it's not sorted correctly, you can always go on the right side on the 3 dots, and there you can normally sort it. So if needed, if you have different things here to sort up. And in our case, at the moment, that's not needed, so that's good. And you remember the measures we had before in the Git. So now we need them because we want to have the comparison between this month and the months before, and we want to calculate the variation between them. So let's do it. So let's create some measures. And before you start creating measures, create a measure storage. In our case, a table. To create a table, you can go in the ribbon bar above and click on Enter Data. Very simple. And the only thing you have here to do is to change the name from table to KPI to key performance indicators. That's all. Don't need more. And then you can load it. There are also other ways I'm aware of you can create tables, but this is my preferred one. And now you see we have on the right side our KPI table. And in this, we will now create our measures. The first one is a simple one. You don't need to copy it. We can do it together. So on the side, on the right side of the KPI name, you see 3 dots. Click on it. And then the second one, you see new measures. And now we will, as before we also did, use the language of Power BI, which is DAX. It is data analytic expression. And we will use it for the KPIs and for calculated columns, calculated tables. But if you are in the Power Query editor, this is not DAX, this is mscript. So there are 2 different languages in Power BI. You have to remember it. So if you create KPIs, calculated columns, calculated tables, then you are working with DAX, data analytic expression. And if you transform things in the Power Query editor, you work with mscript. Okay. Now I will make this a bit bigger so you can see it a bit better. And first, we start with a name. We start with the total spending. Total spendings. Okay. For this, we use the function sum, and we put in our totals. That's it. It is a bit like Excel. Maybe it feels a bit like Excel. And then you can click enter. This will do the same as you see here in the column chart. So why we do it, why we create this one, if it does the same as the column itself, because we will use it later in another measure. So you can nest measures in measures, so you can reference them. And that's a good thing because you don't have to write this function every time you need it. So you only put in the name of the measure, and then it will calculate it, which is very convenient. Okay, then the next thing, next measure, we will create the previous month. So you can go to the GitHub, and then you can simply copy the second measure if you want. I can also write it, but it is a bit faster if you copy and paste it here. And I did it again. I have to copy and then I have to paste it. Okay. Then you see, okay, here I named it total spendings with NN, so typo, of course. And to change it, you can simply delete the old one and put in the new one, the total spendings. And the name of the date table is the same, so you see date table, date, this everything is fine, and then you can enter and confirm the measure. You see now on the right side we have two calculators, previous months and total spendings. Okay, and the third one is our growth measure. So again, 3 dots, new measure, and this one we will write together. And of course it is not very hard to write. So percentage growth and equals, and we start with a divide, which handles the divide by 0 cases, so there's no error. You can also put an alternative text if you want, if there is a 0. And then we have to calculate the current month, which is our total spendings minus the previous month, and this is the first term we have, which calculates the difference between them, and then comma, and then the previous month. So we divide it through the previous month. And that's it. So now we have our 3 measures. Little tip on the beside. If you go now on the placeholder here, the column 1, you can click on the 3 dots, and then you can say delete from model, and then you can delete it. And the good thing is now your KPI table is on top of your tables, which makes it easier to find it maybe if you have more measures. You can also structure them. You can put it in folders and subfolders and so on. I would also recommend it because it's better for structure, simply. Okay, now what can we do now with these measures? We can put them in our visual, of course. So we can click on a previous month, and then we see here now we have our previous month and we have our sum of total. And we see that the previous month is darker than the sum of total, which is in some cases not that good. So let's change the direction of them. We go back to under the visuals here on the right side in the y-axis and simply drag and drop the previous months over the sum of totals. And now we have the darker color is our sum of total. Okay, now let's make it let's beautify this visual a bit. So first we go to the brush, of course. And first let's go on general and remove the background. So this is the first thing. So switch off the background, and then we can go to title, and in the title you can say spendings month over month, so make it a bit easier to understand. And then we go back to the visual and we start with the x-axis, and we see that we can for example delete the title because month number, okay, I guess if we have in the title spending month over month, it will be the months maybe, so we can turn off the title. And then we open the y-axis, and there we can turn off the values and the titles, because the values will be the percentage growth label, and it will be on top of our bars. So not the real numbers will be there, so it will be the variation. That's right. Yes, I guess so. The difference between the actual and the current month. Okay, then we start with the column color. So click on column, And there, first we choose our previous months, which will be white, and it will get a border. So switch on the border. Looks nice, right? Then we go back to all, and then we see below the last setting, layout. Open the layout and switch on overlap. And then you can use this toggle, this slicer, to set the space between the series. So now you see that the previous month is more in the background, because the current month is important for us, not the previous months. Only the difference between them would be more important then. Okay, if you want to close all the windows at once, you can right click on the menu, and then you can say collapse all subcategories, for example, or you can also expand or collapse all categories, so that you have it then a bit better for the view. And the next one, we will turn on the data labels. This one is an important part now. And you see now we have all the data labels from the current and the previous months. And to change it, we go on Apply Settings to open the series, choose Previous Months, and turn it off. That's the first thing. And then you see now we have only the current month, so the sum of total, which is correct. Then we go down, 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 down. And then we see here we have the values. You can turn off the values and turn on the details. Open the details menu, and then you can drag in the percentage growth. You can also click on it and choose it. It depends what's your preferred way here. And you see now we have here our, no, we have no percent. We have our absolute values here. To change that, we have to make sure to click on our measure, percentage growth, so that it's marked. And then you see in the formula, it is no percentage in it. It is only a calculation deviation. And to make it as percent, you go in the ribbon bar, or more on the left side, there's a little percentage icon, and simply click on it, and then you get your percentage. So it's very simple, very easy, and that's it. So now we have our percentage, and we have 30 minutes left, and we have only one thing, two things, I guess, to do. So first, we had color here in the previous report I showed you at the start. So to achieve that, we need, of course, another measure. So we can click on the right side on the KPI, click on new measure, and say, for example, color equals, and now it is very straightforward. So you say if the growth is bigger than 0, then turn it red. Because if it's bigger than 0, that would be bad, right? You have more spendings. And if not, then make it green. So yeah, Power BI can read color names, which is very cool. You can also put hex code in it if you want. So this hashtag thingy with, for example, FF for, I guess it's black, right? Or it's white. It's one of them. And yeah, so very comfortable. So now, hopefully you didn't click somewhere, but in case, I will guide you through it from the beginning. So collapse. We open the data labels. We make sure that we're in series of sum total. We scroll down to the details, open the details. We scroll down to the color, and in the color we see an FX. FX is for conditional formatting. And the conditional formatting you will find everywhere. So if you click on it, you can format it like you want. You have here three basics. You have the gradient, you have the rules, which you can also use. You could also put in here your rule with red and green, but the more flexible way is to use DAX measures. And then you can go here on field values and put in the name color. Oh, there's some O missing. Colors. I put it in right. Maybe I'm not, there it is. Typos are not my thing. So, okay, that's it. So click on OK, and there you are. Now we have our red and green, and we see it. It's very beautiful, and there's a little thing missing. Now you see we have, if we make it a bit smaller, that the numbers disappear. You can go, if you want to have them, you can go on the not on the x-axis, there it is, x-axis. And then you can change the type on continuous to categorical. And then it happens with the sorting. I sorted out, it was the sorting. And you see now we are not in the continuous range anymore. So now we are on a categorical, and now it is the date. And now we have to go on the three dots, sort the axis, and then we have to say month number. And you see, we're not finally there, but one click on the three dots again and say sort axis and say sort ascending and not descending. And then we're good to go, and we can put our visual finally in our report. And that's it. So make it a bit more fitting. So that looks good. One thing or two things I would change. So we have 9 minutes left, still time. In our decomposition tree, I would change the color to dark blue, because now we have spending the months over months is our total here, dark blue. So I would also like to have the same color for the same data type, for the same data. That means I click on the visual so that it's marked, go on the brush on the right, and then we can open the category, the bars, and under bars we find the colors, and there we can change the positive bar to dark blue. And now it's better for the eye. Now it's more matching. And then we have also here the light blue. You can also change it. If you don't know where to find it, you can simply put in color. And then you see here, we find a lot of fields where we have colors. And we find it here in the tree, in the connectors, we have the selected lines. And there we can also choose dark blue. And now also our lines here will be dark blue if we, for example, click on a bar. And you see also the filtering directly from the decomposition tree in our months over months. So everything here is connected. And the last thing I will show you is that if you, for example, now choose a calendar week, the problem here will be that it is also filtered this months over months, which is not correct, because we want to see the months over months also if the calendar week is chosen. Means we have to switch off the relationship between these both visuals. So for this, you can click on the calendar week so that it's marked, go on format, and on the left you find the edit interactions. And if you click on it, every little visual will get new little icons on the right or on the left. It depends on, but most on the right. And then you see here the filter icon and a none icon. If you click on the none icon, you will find out that if you now choose a calendar week from your drop-down menu, that it won't change. But if I click, for example, on a category, meat and fish, you see that it changed. But this is supposed to be, because I want to see if my month over month spending on meat and fish is getting better or worse. or on snacks and sweet. Depends on what I want to see. Okay. If you want to switch off the interaction, you can go again up and click on Edit Interactions, and then the icons will disappear. Right. And I guess that's it. So we have still some minutes left, 5 minutes left. That's out. What did I different before? Do we have some questions regarding Power BI report in 1 hour? Was it good? Was it bad? Did you like the format? Should we do it again with another data set maybe? Let me know in the comments if you're now not watching the live stream. Maybe you can put it later in the comments. Would be nice to know. And yes, I guess we are finished. If you want, you can click on the left side on Save, and of course save your report. And the last thing is we don't publish it, because publishing is another area. For this you need a license, and the workspace has to be set up proper, so that you have a workspace where you can share your reports, where you have the right security, where everything is correctly set up. And this depends, of course, on your company. And if you don't have that in your company and you want it, you can, of course, ask me if you want. Write me a message on LinkedIn or here or on my email address, whatever. Maybe it can help you. And if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. And I have one more thing. Yes, the Data Escape Room currently on my blog. If you want to challenge yourself in a different task, please go there. It's from data modeling over DAX, over governance, and so on. We have a lot of cool rooms every week. On Thursday, we have a new room opened until we have 6. And then, maybe I will continue with another rooms. So I hope you enjoyed the show and the live stream, and I hope I wasn't too fast, so that you can that you have, or that it was possible to follow me. And yeah, that's it. So hopefully we see us next time, and have fun with Power BI.